As most of you know, I'm a sucker for shark movies. Maybe I was eaten by one in a previous life or something, but I have an unexplainable fear of sharks. Even when I'm in lakes or pools, or watching them on TV, the thought of a mouth full of teeth somewhere below the surface of the water, darting for my legs and just waiting to swallow me whole, it always gets me. I even wrote my own very low budget shark movie from the Asylum Studios called Shark Waters, and while it definitely wasn't Jaws, I did try to put in a few moments of terror that haunt my shark-infested nightmares. So I try to cover every shark movie to swim by, and there are a lot of them, some great, but more often, they're stinkers. No Way Up is the latest shark horror flick to surface, so let's talk about it. Welcome back to ML Miller Frights. I'm ML Miller. Before we begin, please do me a favor and punch that like button down below. Share this video with all of your social media addicted pals. Click subscribe to this channel and ring that bell for notifications. No Way Up is new in select theaters and on demand from RLJE Films. It's directed by Claudio Fäh and written by Mayson. Sophie McIntosh plays Ava, the daughter of a senator, who is a passenger in a small plane full of vacationers that flies through a flock of seagulls and ends up submerged under the ocean. Accompanied by her boyfriend, played by Jeremiah Amour, their wisecracking friend, Will Attenborough, Ava's bodyguard, Cole Meany, a gay flight attendant, Manuel Pacific, an elderly woman, played by Phyllis Logan, and her granddaughter, played by Grace Nettle, Ava must fight for her life as the plane fills with water, bloodthirsty sharks swarm outside, while the plane scoots towards the edge of a crevasse into the briny deep. While there's 0% chance something like this would happen, I've always had an interest in disaster movies. And No Way Up exemplifies pretty much every disaster movie you can think of. There's a group of people who are very different from each other in age, class, and sexual orientation, this being the 2020s and all, who must work together in order to survive an inescapable situation. Multiple attempts are made to get to safety, some fail, some inch them a tiny bit closer to rescue, and people are picked off one by one until only the folks with the most speaking parts survive. If you've seen The Poseidon Adventure, then you know the deal. I often have fun with these types of films, as I find myself amused to see how the filmmakers come up with ways for the cast to get out of the unwinnable situation. If done smartly, it can be dumb fun, with a little bit of schadenfreude felt for not being in the situation the cast is going through. So am I recommending No Way Up? No way. Unfortunately, No Way Up is lazy in pretty much every way. Anytime someone other than the lead gets a few lines, you can bet good money they will be dying in the next scene. Basically, all of the action is seen in the back of the plane, where the cast is trapped in an air pocket, and while the rising water does give a sort of tension, it proves to be quite a boring place to be trapped in for most of the film. Later, the gay flight attendant, I call him that because this film makes sure you know he's gay from the very first to the very last minute he appears on the screen. Anyway, the gay flight attendant unhooked some of the beverage carts, and I thought, all right, we're going to get some beverage cart versus shark action. But no, the carts are just set aside, and an opportunity to utilize some of the space in interesting ways is never accomplished. There's even a bathroom in the back of the plane, and no one even goes into it. At least we could have had a scene where the shark blasts open the door on someone who thinks they're safe holed up in the mile-high suite of the plane. But again, no. The best we get is when one person swims down into the cargo hold to get some scuba gear and then swims right back up with very little problems at all. Speaking of which, reality is stretched to its limit in No Way Up. I can suspend my disbelief only so much. Some of the cast die immediately after hitting the water, while others are able to hold their breath for superhuman amounts of time with no problem at all. The trip to the cargo hold by the lead is ridiculous, as her plot armor seems to include the power to breathe underwater, apparently. On top of that, the film forgets it's supposed to be a shark movie in the final moments, as the big fear of the entire film is that the sharks are swarming outside, yet once the survivors get outside of the plane and head to the surface, there's nary a shark to be seen. Most of the characters are annoying as hell, Ava's boyfriend being the most as he takes a negative stance every time he opens his mouth. Ava's homophobic friend is even worse, acting like an asshole simply because there needs to be some kind of conflict at that time. He might as well have shark food tattooed on his forehead. Cole Meany collects a check here in a Sam Jackson in Deep Blue Sea style role, and Downton Abbey's Phyllis Logan is way too talented to be in this movie. I pretty much called who was going to live and who was going to die the first time I saw the lineup of the cast, and you're bound to too if you've seen enough movies and you're privy to the way Hollywood these days tends to favor those who are lesser represented. In every way, No Way Up proved to be predictable, and worst yet, it fails to make even the sharks scary. Hell, I even jumped in Jaws 4: The Revenge a few times. But the action in No Way Up is more likely to lull you to sleep than anything else. Being a huge fan of shark horror means I've seen the good, the bad, and the ugly. No Way Up is the worst of all, as it feels bland and simply uninspired in every way you can imagine.
You're doomed to live the life you're meant to be, stuck inside